Hello and welcome to this energy talk hosted by us at Engerati. We're discussing about innovations in digital energy, and I've been quite excited about this panel because we got various different actors here with us on the couch, and we're going to go through the normal format we have with these panels. We're just going to explore what each individual is doing in this space and then have a discussion afterwards. So Inken, I'd like to start with you. You've got the best job title to kick us off. You know, you're looking at innovations at RWE. Tell me, what in your mind does innovation look like in this sector now, and where was it?
Yeah, I not only have the best job title, I think I have the best job. So I'm the Chief Innovation Officer of RWE. And to come to your question, based on what we do at RWE, it may be a good example to compare it also with others, and you can add or not. But this job not existed 1 year ago, or a bit more than 1 year ago. So of course, our company had been innovative before. We did R&D and a lot of patents, mainly technology driven. We really did great things. But in our strategy last year, we refocused because the world is changing. You all know what happens in our industry. It's getting more decentral. I don't go to all the topics. So refocusing on innovation is really go into new topics and follow some trends which are not just influencing our industry, but also others. So the topic of digital, big data, smart and connected, or Internet of Things, and so on and so forth. It's not just an energy industry topic. So refocus on these topics, and then my job is all about developing new business models for, as we call it, the future energy system, however that looks like. We have a pretty idea
Do you know
about
what it looks like?
I don't. I mean, if I would know, I would not sit here or earn much more money or whatever.
Yeah.
At the end, you don't have to know it exactly, but you have to have some ideas. And it starts with, it will be different. It's not just about the electron or the infrastructure. It will be about mobility. It will be about logistics, communication, and infrastructure, about security. Because we see these industries are coming into energy. So we have to refocus, saying, okay, if this comes to us, why are we not going out? And then the job as Chief Innovation Officer is not just following these trends or ideas, it's about implementation. So we are really serious about the definition of innovation. It's idea plus implementation. And usually the bigger a company is or a corporate, sometimes the slower it gets. So the challenge, and it's a great challenge, is really to get to pilots and tests fast and implement fast. Then we have innovation. That's somehow in a nutshell about my job.
I will come back to that because I can imagine sometimes in a big corporation fast doesn't come natural in the DNA. So what I wanted to do is go to you, Charles, as well, because you guys have picked the UK market to do your digital innovation piece on. Can you just tell us a little bit about the underlying market dynamics that are making that such an interesting place to play?
Yes, so I'm based in the UK, in charge of digital innovation within research and development. We've decided to go to the UK because, first of all, it is a market, a proper energy market, fragmented and competitive. You have big 6 energy suppliers. Most importantly, you have a myriad of new entrants that in the last 5 years have already absorbed 10% of the market share. And these guys have a lower cost to serve, are a lot more agile than we are, and we need to understand how to better work as a large energy provider, as EDF. That's one thing. The second part of the UK is it is a vibrant digital ecosystem. That one statistic strikes me all the time, that over 12% of the UK GDP is coming from the digital economy. You have over 270,000 startups over there. And it is a community where we need to be able to engage with the startups, but also with the academics over there. So we believe the UK is the right place, and it is the right time to move over there and launch an ambitious digital innovation program.
And Luciano, can I bring you in as well? And we're stitching this narrative together. What are you doing at Enel? Because that's quite interesting about the sort of unit that you're leading, where you're looking at new partnerships. Can you just crystallize what those new partnerships look like, and where you're trying to get to?
Yeah, fast or quick is a keyword, as she mentioned. In Enel, we have understood that we are big, but not enough big to do everything for our own. So we have decided to create this ecosystem in which there are academics, there is the academy, there is venture capital, there is the corporation and other corporations like us, and there are startups. So we have decided to invest in startups. Right now we have in our portfolio around 35 startups. We are not after financial return, so we invest in startups because we think that they can support us in providing our customer with the new product and new services. And we have understood that they are much quicker than us to do this. So we can leverage on our ecosystem in order to support them and in order to provide them all they need in order to create a new product and new services. And we are the first adopter of this product, or we use this product for increase our operational performances. So it's a win-win approach. They have a big customer, and we have product and services that for our own we are not able to produce.
And so what you're effectively buying, you're buying the startup's agility by investing in them, so that you don't have to look at your own structure effectively and say
exactly. Exactly.
So
and the focus is not only energy, as RWE was saying. The focus is our scope is quite broad, because we are interested in electric mobility, we are interested in cybersecurity, smart home, and so on.
Okay. So across the whole of it. Now, all of this stuff ends up in the home.
Yeah, exactly.
So can you tell us about this stop-start world of the smart home, and how you see that then playing into this sort of digitally connected digital energy ecosystem?
Yeah, so talking about innovation at Eneco is like, we started already in 2007, thinking on these lines and on these topics. So where we are now is more like in the execution phase than thinking about how we're going to do it. For example, the Toon thermostat now is focal point of our strategy, where you call it digital smart home. And however you call it, it's providing our customers with a platform where basically with the entry point for new services to enter the home. There will be energy services, but also other smart home services. So it will be a platform that's open for other partners as well in other sectors. But coming back to how Eneco's point of view on that is that there's no discussion on whether we're going to be an energy service company. We left the commodity. We left the thought that commodity will help us through the next 10 years. We left that thought already in 2007. So for us, it's like we're smaller. Also, I think that's also one of the reasons why. But for us, it's just the only way forward is digital or smart home or platform thinking. Yeah.
So if I can bring all of this now back to digital, right? So what I'm saying is that there are certain market dynamics that are driving it. There is the speed and agility side of it. There is the connectedness of the home. All of these pressures, and then you've got big, massive companies like RWE saying, actually, we don't know what the new ecosystem looks like. So there's quite a disruptive world that we live in. Can we try and define what the digital energy sector will look like? So Inken, with everything you've heard here, how would you stitch it together if you had the ability to?
And we made our mind up about that one, and I just want to offer you, we have already a smart home platform. Very good one, open, you don't have to develop it. Yeah? So, just as a hint. Perhaps let me clarify, because when we started talking about digital in our company, it was always confusing, because everybody used that word, and but we were not talking about the same things. So what we have is a concept saying, I call it the anyhow digitization. This is what our companies have to do, which starts with I don't send a physical letter, rather than I send an email. Yeah? I mean, up to customer services running on digital and using whatever interfaces. That's for me anyhow digitization. On the other scale is disruptive digitization. And this is different. Of course you need, and that's why I call it anyhow, this you have to do. You all have, not just energy industry, we all.
And you need to do this in order to cope with.
Yes, but we are not doing one after the other.
Yes.
What we do also in the Innovation Hub, we have one of our strategic focus topics, which is called disruptive digital. And that makes it perhaps really clear. What we are looking for and developing and searching is really disrupting business models based on whatever is in digital available. And not on anyhow. Yeah? Of course, there's also innovative stuff and so on and so forth. Yeah? But if you go now to that disruptive digital, where we have an own focus topic lighthouse, it's really about using platforms, as you saw it, using smart devices. Doesn't matter if it's Samsung, smart, whatever phone and iPad. And the customer, and now here's the important point, more and more loves using all kind of apps, all kind of support you get from these devices. So this means developing products or value propositions for customers which may disrupt our trading, may disrupt our retail, because for what you need to retail in your company when customers start exchanging their energy via a platform. And that's the disruptive part of it. Then we have to choose, and that we all have to ask in our companies, are we able and do we have the technology or the possibility to do that with the things we have on board already? Or if not, do we look outside? And I'm also very much in that direction, because if we have not the technology or the know-how or whatever, we are partnering. So we look outside for, doesn't matter if startups, innovative companies, smaller, bigger, but we are not inventing all our own. So we are looking then outside for partners to whatever is needed then to develop that proposition for the customer and to bring it to the market. Because if you're in that area of disruptive digital, you find there really skills and competences, usually in our company, not running around hundreds of these ladies and gentlemen. Yeah? So that's why we are also in the ecosystem of the UK and have there an outpost. We are in Silicon Valley. We are in Israel. I highly can recommend also to go there, because there's a lot about technology and digital. And it's all about finding partners to develop propositions and ideas you have.
And I mean, on that disruption piece, I take it back to the UK. You mentioned a key stat. You said, like, we were the big six, we ruled the roost. Now 10% of our customers have gone elsewhere. The other very interesting thing I saw is there's the brand poll that WPP do, and for the first time there was a utility in it. And it wasn't anybody we know, it was Over Energy, who only started, not that long ago.
5 years ago, yeah.
So for the first time we've got a utility, but it's someone completely new, customer first. So how are you actually disrupting?
So I think, just would like to bounce back a bit on the points that were said. Energy meets digital, this is happening, this is right now. And it's us utilities trying to encompass or incorporate digital tools that we could define, but we're not going to go into that right now. That's one thing. But I think it's more the digital pure players that are slowly moving or aggressively moving into our markets, and I think this is where it starts to be interesting. I think what's happening today is a set of enablers that did not exist before that are now being rolled out. The first one being the smart meters, where we're going to go in the UK from 2 meter readings per year to 2 meter readings per hour. So for us, this is a deluge of data. We are not used to manipulate that type of data sets, and we haven't yet found how we are going to create value out of that.
But that's a key point, right? So we're now on smart meters. That's driving a digitization. It's like, how do you create value out of that data? Not value, for me as the energy company, but value for the customer. That's quite important, isn't it? I mean, how does that?
For example, how we do that is already 10% of our install base is on the smart thermostat, has direct feedback panel in their homes. And we see with them is that on average they actually save 10% on energy just by feeding it back to them. And all the other programs that we do, opening up APIs, I personally believe that as a company we're not going to think of the best energy saving app. The market is going to do that. So we're just going to open up our API and just welcome the market and say, okay, how can you help our customers save energy? And with 200,000 people on a smart meter and on a direct feedback panel and on the platform, I mean it helps you. I mean it in all directions. Big companies, insurance companies, but also small startup companies approach us. Can we have access to the data? We have ideas how we can develop value add propositions, and I guess it has to be it's a two-way street. And but I think that in the whole discussion, smart meters is like the most underestimated. It will give you such a great insight in so much directions, but you can really help your customer with new propositions.
And do you think it's underestimated because what we haven't done? And I go back to another analogy when TfL in London said we want to have apps that tell people where the buses and the trains are. They didn't go and build it. They just opened up their data. And you went on the app store, you couldn't move for an app that would tell you what was going on, and it's now consolidated. I think there's 2 or 3 that have survived the sprint, for want of a better word. But isn't that where we should be going with all of this? You just open the data up, and that's when we'll find the solution. I mean,
it's definitely one possibility. Just look around here at this conference. How many people are here on data aggregation, disaggregation? I think every second startup approaching me is about that topic, and everybody knows it better than the other. Yeah, so definitely. I think so far, even in countries like Sweden or others where you have smart meters already for a bit longer, or Norway, they're still looking for that silver bullet. What kind of business model to do out of it? Because the not so good news, customers mostly are not interested in energy efficiency. Even if we would love to have it, I mean, we learned it the hard way. It's boring. They are not interested in it. So I come back to the point, what are they interested in? And if we have nice platforms and we are in the houses of the customers and we have smart meter data, so what the heck really is interesting this customer? And that's why we develop, for example, not in the area of energy efficiency, we develop things for customers like how can I easily switch my energy provider, but not by going to these nice portals in the internet, by really via an app, and somebody else is doing all in the rest for me. And it's hassle-free. It needs you 3 or 5 clicks. That's our ambition. And you can switch with the proposition to get always a better contract or a better deal. That's what people want. And it must not even be in energy contracts. If you can do that for energy contracts, you can do that for insurance, for telecommunication. Our customer insights.
Is that what people want, you think?
Our customer insights we do in the UK and in US and in the Netherlands. Tell us, yes.
Because what I see is that almost all energy companies have negative net promoter scores. So that people are not interested in energy, not interested in energy companies. So our focus is not on switching or giving a lower price or a better price. It's more like how can we, exactly how you say it, how can we help them save energy, not providing them only feedback, but just managing stuff for them. And the price is just only one thing. But it's interesting discussion.
Yeah, I'm going to bring you guys in.
No, I just wanted to contradict a bit on one thing for the sake of this debate. We all agree on opening the data set. It's amazing. Let's have open APIs. I'm all for it. But who's going to pay for the infrastructure? I mean, the real question is a smart meter rollout. This is expensive. That means going to every single house in the UK and installing a smart meter that will collect the data, bring it to the data communication company, where a third party could just log in and get access to the data. And what that means is that all of a sudden, a myriad of new entrants will be able to come in, provide services that we were hoping to provide just through these open data sets. So yes, innovation has to go through the open data sets, but we need to find a mechanism to fund for this data collection mechanism. So this is something I'm very keen on looking into right now.
Smart meters for us is an asset. We have installed around 35 million smart meters in the world. It means that every day we reach 500 million customers every day in the world. So we are trying to get closer to our customer, and digital helps us to do this. Digital for us is synonymous of customer-centric approach. So collecting data and trying to understand how to manage this data help us to provide customer services that match what they want. So I agree with her when she says that energy efficiency probably is not very, very interesting for a customer, but it's a problem of business model. You have to create the right business model in order to cross-selling to your customer product and services that are linked also with the energy efficiency.
It's a byproduct.
That energy efficiency could be a byproduct, exactly. And our challenge now, and I want to come back to what he was saying. Challenge now as Enel is to electrify Africa and other countries where there is not electricity. So working on smart grids and smart meters that are cost effective is very, very important. And digital again help us a lot. Digital and telco.
But I still don't get a sense that we know what the customer actually wants to a degree, unless what we're saying is that some of the market dynamics need to change in order to give us something that is of value back to the customer. But on the smart meter side of things, I mean, I'm probably going to say something silly, but I just want to put it out there. I find it insane that the smart meter infrastructure is not part of the distribution infrastructure and the ROI in the UK.
It's different. In every European country,
it's different.
We have one EU law.
In Italy, it's part of the distribution.
Yes, in other
Spain,
countries it is.
And then the model is simple.
No. It's,
that's why he wants to be in UK.
Because I think if you actually did that, and the narrative around smart meters is changing so much more that the intelligence on those edge devices that they can give to the distribution grid could actually put a business case together. We could then create this platform of innovation because the data would be owned by everybody, and the distribution network can license the data to anybody. So we create
but this makes sense, but it depends on the countries where you are.
There is currently in the UK a mechanism where the data is being collected by every supplier and aggregated into the DCC, and anybody can come and source himself from this data set. So as a matter of fact, this environment is already available in order. So it's not a problem of being part of distribution or retail, but I think there is a bit of incoherence that on the one hand, the supplier is in charge of deploying the smart meters, and on the other hand, we're pushing for a proper market and same-day switching. That's where it starts to be really complex.
Can we go a bit away from the smart meter? Because to be honest, we all like them, we love them from an innovation point of view. It's an enabler. The more intelligent, the better. The more dumb, it it's getting worse. So I think that's a fact. And we all work on how to get the data, aggregate, disaggregate, to get insights out of it. I think we all do that, and it's a must do, and we all have to do it. I think it starts getting more interesting when you then go beyond that and start on a different horizontal layer. What can I do with it? And I really want to trigger us and bring us in another direction. Assume we have these smart meters, the data, high capabilities to do whatever with it. The next step is how to provide our customers that they want to share things. I come back to the sharing economy, and you said we don't know what our customer wants. To be honest, but we try, and we try by doing it differently than in the years. So what we follow in EUW Innovation is a human-centered design approach. So it's based on design thinking. It's a lot about insights. If there's not a customer problem or a need to solve, we stop. We simply stop whatever kind of technology is there. If the customer has no need or no problem to solve, it's not worth for us going into it. So, but if there is a trend of sharing, for example, and we identify for us as really an important one, the peer-to-peer and sharing. For the customer, it doesn't matter. He shares his rooms with Airbnb, his car with Uber, his apples with there are many sharing sites in each country. So why not sharing energy? Again, the smart meter and all the data lies the enabler. But now it comes, and you said it, to find the business models then where we on the one hand can serve customers' need because you should buy what we offer, but where we then really use digital, and it's then about a platform you provide. It's about a mechanism, how they can share. And yes, I know there's regulation, there's a physical grid, but startups don't care. They start inventing these stuff, and then they come and say, oh, there's a regulator. And here now the beauty starts, working together with a big company like ours or like yours. We know, of course, regulation and the physics and so on and so forth, but we really love and highly appreciate working with startups fully free of mind, developing on a digital basis, it's with platforms, softwares, these kind of sharing value proposition. And we bring them in.
So what you're really saying is we need to tap into the sharing economy.
As an example, because we can talk for an hour about smart meters, and I think we all like them, and we do a lot of stuff to get best out of it.
But we need to move.
But that's an enabler.
Yes.
It's really the enabling layer, so to say, for the digitization. And a bit for me again, anyhow. Sorry.
Now, my point on that is. And I keep on repeating that digital is global, but energy is local. And there is, as you just said, there are a set of regulations. The energy mix is different. The framework, the environments in which you operate is different. And you can just scale a digital solution as easily in the energy environment as you would we talked about Uber earlier. Now, my real question, and the way we're trying to fix that, is to put in place a framework to engage with startups so that if they come and have a great idea, how can we help them? How can we match the startup expertise with the expertise of our people around the energy market, but also around even the packets, the IP level.
So all of you are going to become platforms effectively for startups and building ecosystems that they can innovate off the back of.
Maybe not as the main purpose of our companies, but as
actually for us it's the main purpose actually, and I think that it's also not that it's going to be our ecosystem. We try to partner with other companies as well. It just we're a small energy company from the Netherlands, so but it's not that we recognize the fact that it's not that we will invent it. Others will invent it. Only just by partnering and opening up and giving others the possibility to use what we made and the other way around, it will have the dynamic that you need to survive, I guess.
Can I bring you back in, because you were going to say something on that?
No, I was saying that regulation matters and could be a constraint, but we are used to test product services of startups in other countries. If in certain countries we are not able to do that. for example, the technology the storage for
behind the meter storage or
for the electric mobility.
Yes.
Sometimes it's not available to use storage to feed the grid with the storage from the electric mobility, from electric vehicle.
Vehicle to grid.
Vehicle to grid, exactly. The vehicle to grid technology, and we are testing this technology in South Africa, for example, because over there we can do this, or in North Europe, in Finland, because over there we are allowed to do that. So we incubate new business and new startups where they are allowed to do.
I mean, you know, in hearing everything, I mean, maybe it's just my feeling, maybe it's the vibe I'm picking up, but I am picking up a vibe of frustration on speed to a degree, and also another frustration on the regulatory environment to enable you to give the right incentive. I mean, how real is that? I mean, do we really need to shake up the regulators and bring them closer up to the ambition where we need to be?
I don't think the problem comes from the regulators. I think the problem comes from the skills, from the talent that we currently are having inside our companies, or the people that we manage to attract. And I don't think we are up to speed right now with that type of talents. This is my main pain point today, recruiting the right guys to accelerate this digital transformation.
Is that the sort of thing you would say in RWE as well? Or?
No, I would say a bit different, because I always say frustration is, so to say, none of my friends. So I always see the challenge and something to solve. We have great people inside, so we got into our innovation hub, I would say half of great people inside, where we look at the right mind and skill set, but of course, and there I agree, we also look outside. Because again, we are dealing with stuff and business models our core business was not working on or dealing with so far, so where should it come from? That's why you need it internally and externally. Frustration with regulation, again, it's not a good friend to be frustrated or have a frustrator as a friend. It's difficult, yes. We have also the same approach. We, of course, know regulation in Europe or worldwide, and we do the same. We pick for our prototypes the best environment. And I made the experience so far, if you then can showcase whatever kind of regulator or government, what and how it is done in another country, what value add is, do you meet them some of the targets which are given, then this is much more helpful. Thus, this has to develop further. Definitely. I mean, the whole topic of IT, communication and digital is influencing so much our lives, and not just in energy, in the other industries. To just think about car industry and autonomous driving, they also have a hell to do at the moment with their lobbyists, to get anywhere there. So we are in a world which develops much, much faster than it did 50 years ago. And then you have, of course, regulation and governments and politics also have to adapt to get into that speed. Something which is today new and disruptive might be next year old-fashioned, and the law which supports us would be ready in 5. I mean, this is not helping, and this is not being frustrated or blaming it. It's just a fact. And for me, always the question: how can we enable? How can we enable legislation or regulation? How can we show what it's meant, and so on and so forth? And again, fast, because if we come to a conclusion sometimes with somebody, it might be too late. And that's how startup works. If they would start dealing with this kind of stuff, they would die, they would be dead. It takes much too long. That's where we can help on the one hand. On the other hand, they just do and try out, and you can observe already. Take Uber again, sorry for that. In some countries, they change legislation after Uber has entered in the favor of Uber. And you have other countries, I don't name them, where based on based on the legislation, Uber is forbidden to act or is not allowed to offer the service. To be honest, I believe that in 3 to 5 years, we will only have Uber.
Yes.
If you want or
Uber-like.
not. Or Uber-like. Yeah, it must.
I
sorry,
couldn't
it
get
must
one.
be-
I couldn't get one in Vienna. Did you mean Austria?
It must be
This
not
morning.
Uber, but that kind of offer. Yeah. We will be there in 3 to 5 years. Whatever fight is done today.
No, I think on the legislation you really nailed it. I mean, it's like it's just going too fast. It's like, and it would really help if there are some things that would change more rapid but it's not like so again, frustration it wouldn't be the right thing. I mean, you have to work with it. It's just like you pointed out. It's just a given.
So as we're coming to the end of our time here, and it's amazing how quickly it flies, I just wonder if I could ask each one of you, if you let's not end on a frustration note, let's end on a positive note.
I'm positive, happy.
You're unique.
No, I'm positive as well. No, I'm positive as well.
But if I could ask each one of you, so what would your wish be for the energy sector in the context of digital? What would you want to see happen? I'm going to start with you.
It's a strange question. What I want to see, and what I want to see happen is that what we will be doing for the coming years, and what we will be doing for the coming years is splitting the company up in a part that it's more platform focused, and a part that will be more focused on developing services, and even spinning those services out as ventures, and just adapting, and also using the word innovation a bit less, because it's just it needs to be practiced. The problem is that if you call it innovation, it's like it goes to a separate part of the company.
It goes into mystique land.
Exactly, and we have to stop that. It's just the way we work, and we need to work.
Can you build on that? I'm going to ask each of you to build on it.
I can build on that, and I would, if I would have a vicious. It's all about the topic being, on the one hand, much more outward oriented. Really, let's go out of our industry focus, and recognizing it again. I mean, other companies, utilities who are already very open, who go out into the ecosystems as we do. But again, you meet so many which are still in their, I'm a utility, how can I save whatever. Let's much more be open, look at other industries, partner, work together with whomever is needed, because that will really bring our energy system forward. So that's main wish on that one. And also the topic of, we all have the same problems, the same challenges. I mean, just having here us on that couch, we share so much things, what and how we do. So we all take a lot of efforts for that one. How can this industry come to a collaboration or cooperation, whatever the nuance is, to drive things faster to the customer? I come back to my first statement. It's about implementation. Implementing. That would be my second wish. Whatever is needed also for the industry to do and to do together.
Get things out there.
Yeah. Energy sector has changed, so now energy is a commodity, and we need to reshape the sector again in order to provide our customer new things. So my wish is to find in my ecosystem startups or other corporations that help us to bring electricity and services to all the world. So.
Finish us off.
Yes, I think all of the above. I think these are my wishes. I think, yes, we're changing as utilities. We'll go from being energy company to becoming data company. I'm hoping that we help internally to do that transition. We find ways and mechanisms to engage with stakeholders and also engage at the utility level. I think at the industry level there's a lot we could be doing together. So that's my wish, find collaboration mechanism.
Excellent, thank you, and we'll end on that. And my wish is that we can do many more of these. So there we go. So thank you very much for watching. More panels on the Engerati network, and we hope that this has given you a lot of food for thought. And if you're a young innovator out there are 4 people on this couch who'd love to hear from you. So thank you for